Welcome to Blue Chip Chats. My name is Gina De Girolamo, and I'm a certified financial planner. This is the series where we talk through the technical and emotional sides of financial planning to help you make informed decisions about your future. If you like our content, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Thanks so much for watching. Let's chat. All right, today I'm here with Scott Foret. Scott is a certified financial planner and senior financial advisor here at Blue Chip. Scott, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Gina.
Absolutely. So we are going to be talking about the more emotional side of financial planning, and especially what this looks like for a couple who maybe one spouse is retiring in the next 6 months to a year. They're kind of starting to go through this transition period into the next stage of their financial journey, and what that might look like, not only from a financial planning standpoint, but emotionally, how that can impact the spouses. So Scott, if you could just give a high-level overview of more of the emotional side of that planning.
Yeah, it marks a very significant change for most people. They've been living their life, in career around a schedule, going to work every day, coming home, fitting in sports and kids, and all of a sudden that schedule doesn't exist anymore. So it's a big change in that people need to have some kind of a plan to do something with that time that they now have available.
Yeah, and you've coached a lot of clients through this stage. And from what you've seen, your perspective, what has seemed to work and what has seemed to not work in clients' either financial plan or their day-to-day life?
Yeah, I'd say the most important thing is to not just one day flip the switch and expect that you're going to have a good time with that.
Mm-hmm.
It usually, take some thought and planning, and we suggest, thinking about what life looks like financially and non-financially, just from a day-to-day standpoint, but ahead of time, and start having the conversation with your spouse around what this looks like, what our schedule is going to look like. And financially, I think it's an important switch as well, because you have no income coming in theoretically, and now you're just starting to spend down your money.
Yeah. And so kind of circling back on the non-financial front, you may see someone who was working 40 hours a week or more, right? They're operating at 1,000 miles an hour to no longer working. And how does that look like? Maybe you have one spouse that was working, one spouse that isn't. Now they're both retired. They're both at home all the time. What could that look like for that couple?
Can you imagine? Right? You've got your routine,
yeah,
and you're set, and you may have the house to yourself on any given day. All of a sudden, maybe your husband's sleeping in, and you're like, "Hey, look at these split here. We got to get up and moving."
Yep.
Hey, that's the time I take my shower. Wow, I normally don't eat that for breakfast, but since he or she prepared that, now I feel like I have to. So, it's a difference in just navigating the space together. Mm-hmm. And with that comes, a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
It can be difficult.
And what types of opportunities present themselves because of that?
Oh, yeah. It's great. You've been working nonstop. You've probably not had an opportunity to do all the things maybe that you wanted to do. And you kept saying, oh, I'll do it later when I have more time. Well, guess what? You have more time.
Yeah.
And so a lot of, clients will talk about traveling, and that's great. And it occupies a certain amount of time, immediately after retirement. But you're not traveling every day, with rare exception. Mm-hmm. You're traveling, and then you're coming home and you're back in your routine again. So, finding a new hobby, doing something with a cause that maybe, you just didn't have time for when you were working. A lot of times you're at that stage of having grandchildren, so you're, spending more time seeing your sports and whatnot. But yeah, it's a time to reinvent yourself. It's a time to maybe pick up a new hobby, do something that you put off for so many years.
Mm-hmm. And this could be something that you might want to do with your spouse and have it be a hobby that you both share, or a time to grow individually, right? And spend that time doing your own thing. So exactly like you said, you're not in the house 24/7 together, right?
Yeah, and it kind of works the other way too,
yeah.
Right? Like, I'm taking up pickleball. Come on, honey, let's go play pickleball. It's like, what? Yeah, I've never played pickleball in my life.
Yeah.
You have to communicate. That's the key, you know, and just find that common ground, test different things that you enjoy doing together, but also test things that you want to do independently. And that's okay. And people have to give themselves permission to do that. It's, we all live these lives as individuals and we live it as a couple, but you're now spending a lot more time together. So you got to have kind of a discussion and planning with that.
Yeah. And going back to the planning on the financial planning side, you mentioned that shift from saving to spending. What types of things are you recommending to clients and working through on that planning side?
Yeah. We have the fortune to participate in a lot of retirements with our clients, and we've seen these transitions happen. So we've lived this as financial advisors multiple times. Our clients get to live this one time. And so, it's such a mental shift and such a radical change from what got you to this point. You've saved and worked hard, and all of a sudden that stops. And now you have the opportunity to kind of spend the money.
Yeah.
And that change, it sounds easy on paper, but making that change to actually not have income, to be spending money on a trip that, might cost quite a bit of money that you put off.
Yeah.
You have to give yourself permission to do that. And with the right plan and right advisor, they'll coach you through that and they'll give you the permission to do that.
Yeah. And so, Scott, either on the financial planning side or not, if you could give 3 takeaways that you'd want someone watching who may be retiring or maybe their spouse is retiring in the near term, what would those 3 tips be?
Yeah, great question. Have a plan, right? So don't just think that the day after you retire, everything's going to exist like it has before.
Mm-hmm.
And that plan should involve having, a discussion with your spouse or significant other to just work out kind of boundaries and what you want to do as a couple. Second is talk with a financial planner. Really understand the plan in the context of this change. So not waiting until the last day to do that. Talk years ahead of time. Prepare yourself mentally for that, because it is a big departure from what you've done all of these years to get you to this point. And it's okay. The right plan will allow you to do that. And then, third is view this as an opportunity to grow yourself as a couple, perhaps learn some new things, really embrace it. It's a reward that you've gotten to this point. It shouldn't be a burden. You should think of it as a way to just do all those things that you weren't able to do before.
Absolutely. And exactly like you said, this is something that we've worked with our clients through. We've seen a ton of retirements, whereas for someone going through it, this is their one and only time to do it, right? So if this is something that you might have questions on, if you or your spouse are going through this life change, reach out to our team at Blue Chip and we'd be happy to help you with some of this. So Scott, thanks so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for watching. Can't wait to chat again soon.
Thank you.